What's up, everyone? WrestleMan is back here with another video, and this time I got a friend of mine.
BMX Stream here.
So we're gonna do something a little interesting today, something a little different, a little bit more fun. We are going to give you our top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. This is going to be a top 10 list slash a debate video. His list is going to be different from mine. All lists are subjective. In the comments down below, let us think what you think about our list, and then let me know what your lists are. So without any further ado, let's get started. I'll let my guests. I will start off these ceremonies by saying that my number 10 favorite wrestler of all time is Tommy Dreamer.
Ooh.
The reason why I'm a big Tommy Dreamer fan is because one of the first things I remember with ECW when I first saw it was Tommy Dreamer. There was something about Dreamer that just it spoke to me. It was the fact that he looked like a normal guy, but it's the fact that he took so much punishment in the ring. And you can clearly tell the man had a passion for what he did.
That's true.
Oh yeah,
that's very true.
Oh, yeah. And Dreamer is the definition of a wrestler who didn't win a whole lot of belts, but he didn't need a belt.
He didn't even want the belt, from what I remember.
He didn't. His toughness and just who he was as a performer is what makes him stand out to me. So yeah, number 10 for me is Tommy Dreamer.
Number 10 for me would be Drew McIntyre. I love his. I'm not a fan of his 3MB work. I'm not a fan of like when he first broke into the business. I'm talking about Drew McIntyre now, like when he's coming to his own. He's grown in the business. He's gotten way better than when he started. Good Lord.
Oh, he's 10
3MB was, oh my God. I think 3MB was the worst thing I've ever seen on W. One of the worst things I've ever seen.
Drew needed to leave in order for him to mature.
Yeah, and good thing he did because he became a way better wrestler.
Oh, he became a world-class athlete.
He became one of the best workers, I think, in WWE today.
Oh, he's good. He's like really,
he's amazing.
He's really good.
But yeah, like I said, modern Drew. Not 3MB, and not when he first broke into the business as the chosen one. I definitely feel that Drew McIntyre. I mean, it might not be in a lot of people's top 10, but I think he's very underrated.
Oh,
now, anyway.
All right, so number 9 for me is the homicidal, the suicidal, the genocidal Sabu. I love Sabu. Again, when I first saw ECW. Sabu was the one that captured my attention. It's the fact that the guy is a complete and utter psychopath, and he just had a fucking intense look. The scars, the fact that he hardly ever talked, and the fact that he would just do the most craziest shit. Yeah. How could you not like a guy like Sabu who just did the most bonkers stuff?
That's true.
And he broke his own body to break your body. It's insane.
Pretty much.
That's why he's homicidal and suicidal.
It's like a precursor to, I was gonna say precursor to Mankind, wouldn't he? Or like Mick Foley, or is that around the same time?
No. If anything, because Cactus Jack was doing the hardcore stuff before Mankind.
Jack, okay. Yeah, so precursor, so like around Cactus Jack.
See, Mankind is Mankind's a completely different character to itself.
Okay, so it wouldn't be Mankind; it'd be more like Cactus Jack.
Yeah, but Sabu and Cactus started out like literally at the same time.
Oh, okay. So it's the same.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
But yes, for me, my number 9 is Sabu. I love Sabu.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Number 9 for me would be Triple H.
Oh, the game.
The game Triple H is my number 9 favorite. He's a very ferocious competitor when he's in the ring. His work is amazing, as well as his versatility.
Cerebral
because cerebral assassin. Yeah, he works on when he gets a body part, he works on it. But the reason why I say versatility is because he's a damn funny promo. He's a damn funny promo.
Well, the thing with
like back in the day,
Triple H is a ring general also.
Right. Back in the day with DX.
Yeah,
DMX. Rest in peace, DMX. R.I.P. But back in the day, when he started DX in the 1990s, his stuff was funny.
Yeah, and now if you go on Peacock, they eliminated half of his work.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Because they got rid of the nation skit. They got rid of the nation skit.
That's what I was saying.
That's hilarious.
You know what's funny? Dude, I actually mentioned that. It's funny stuff.
The nation
The Croc.
Skit. The
Croc promos were the best.
The
Croc just came out of the bathroom.
and
you should have smelled what the Croc was cooking.
No, you should have smelled what the Rock was cooking.
But anyway,
I ain't faking. You should have smelled what the Rock was baking.
Yeah, but
that shit's hilarious.
Exactly.
And NBC Universal / Peacock wants you to think it never existed.
Exactly. So number 9 for me would be Triple H, not only because of his ring generalship, him being the cerebral assassin, but He's a damn funny promo too.
Oh, yeah.
When he wants to be comedic, he's one of the best in my opinion.
Yeah, he's good. All right, so for me, my number 8 is Raven.
Ooh,
Again, going back to ECW.
It's a good one.
Raven was a character that spoke to me. Like now in hindsight, to me, Raven is the '90s equivalent of Jake Roberts. Raven is the grunge version of Jake Roberts, and I thought Scott Levy, the guy who played Raven, did a fantastic job at taking a gimmick that Jake Roberts already did and just updated it and made it fit more of the times that he was presented in. I mean, Raven himself, he had a unique look at the time. Like the whole grunge thing with the shirts and the ripped jeans and his promos, which were very, very eloquent, and yet he used big words.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of guys like Jake Roberts and Nick Bockwinkel, but he just made it his own. And in general, in the ring, Raven is a very underrated wrestler because the guy could actually go in the ring when he's with the right opponent. And he's a good storyteller. Like Raven is one of the most overlooked storytellers in wrestling. I don't think he ever gets enough credit for just how good of a storyteller he can be on a promo and in the ring. So number 8 for me is Raven.
All right. My number 8 is Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret Hart. I mean, the name alone, the Hitman, the excellence of execution, Bret Hart. While not as entertaining as I would say, like maybe like an HBK or Triple H in the ring, but
Bret is more of a button-down type of wrestler. He's an ass kicker.
But his matches were classics and masterpieces.
Oh yeah.
I will make a bet to you right now. I bet a lot of you can probably, if you named a match right now that is one of your favorite matches of all time, I bet you Bret Hart is probably somewhere in your list.
Oh yeah.
Like he put on classics.
To me, I think a majority of people might choose WrestleMania 13 with Austin.
Yeah, I would say so too. Or WrestleMania 10.
Or no, 10 with
Owen.
Absolutely. And the Iron Man match.
Or the Iron Man match. Or the Intercontinental match with the Bulldog.
No, Bulldog and Perfect. Both of those.
Oh yeah, those were amazing.
Oh yeah.
But definitely, number 8 for me, Bret Hart. His matches were, like I said, classic stuff of legends and spectacles.
And his '97 run is fucking awesome.
Yes.
Heel Bret Hart was.
Oh yeah. Heel Bret Hart was good.
You want to know a funny story? And Austin actually confirmed it in an interview.
The original plan for WrestleMania 14 was supposed to be Austin and Bret. WrestleMania, with Austin finally getting the win over Bret.
Wow.
So the whole thing in Montreal never went down and Bret never left for WCW. That was the loose plan, and I always knew that was the case.
That would have been a hell of a match.
It would have been, Austin would have finally beat Bret, who would have been presented
As the guy, but shit
happened with Montreal, Bret going to WCW. We didn't get that.
Definitely.
And to me, that kind of left Austin's feud with Bret Hart incomplete.
Yeah.
Because Austin never got that big win.
Yeah.
Over Bret, he never beat him.
There you go. So that's my number 8.
All right. So for me, my number 7 is Arn Anderson.
Ooh.
I love Arn Anderson, the Enforcer AA. That guy, Arn Anderson. You take a look at him. You would never think someone like him could be a good wrestler because he doesn't have that wrestler physique. But Arn Anderson is what is known as a mechanic, and a mechanic is a guy who is a good hand, and that's what Arn Anderson is. He is a damn good wrestler. Yeah. Again, like you said, he isolates a body part. He works on that body part. Yeah. Arn Anderson had a way of carrying himself in promos. He never screamed or shouted. He had like this intense elegance to him. And when Arn Anderson spoke, you believed when he spoke. When Arn Anderson got angry, you believed he was angry, and he could back that up in the ring. So yeah, for me, number 7 is Arn Anderson.
Nice. For me, number 7, I would say Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh.
Number 7. My 7th favorite wrestler, Stone Cold Steve Austin. What can I say? I mean, the name alone, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Good God, the guy is amazing. Very, very versatile performer. He's a great worker. He's a great talker. He has one of the best promos. I mean, fucking Austin 316 is one of the most known catchphrases I think ever in WWE history.
Oh yeah.
If not one of them, either Austin 316 or Give Me a Hell Yeah.
Which came at the expense of Jake Roberts' King of Ring 96.
Yep. Which gave
Austin the idea.
Yep. Which gave Austin the idea.
Which is fantastic.
Indeed. And then the Oh Give Me a Hell Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh hell yeah. And What? I mean,
Well, the what,
legendary
the
and
what,
iconic.
the what chant got
The what chant,
really
yeah.
stale really fast.
Legendary and well, I mean they were iconic.
No, he had it over.
And of course, how could you forget about the Stone Cold Stunner?
Boom.
Good God! Dig him, kick him, turn him sideways, and bam! Stunner on a
Awesome. I love
great guy, Austin. Number 7, my favorite, Stone Cold Steve Austin, for his versatility as a worker, as a performer, and number 7, Stone Cold.
For me, my number 6 is Big Sexy.
Kevin Nash. I
am a huge Kevin Nash fan. I love Kevin Nash. I never felt that Kevin Nash got the credit he deserved as an in-ring performer.
when the guy was motivated,
He could put on some pretty damn good matches.
and so whenever a big man comes to WWE, I always say to like many friends, book the big guy like he's Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash had this cool, cocky swagger to him. Like whenever Kevin Nash cut a promo,
He was always laid back. He had he had the cockiness of somebody who was in control, and he never broke a sweat. He never cracked. Like Kevin Nash, he won't go down as like the best mic person, but he'll go down as somebody who can get his point across in a cool, confident manner without slurring his words
or just losing his space. He just had that calm badassness to him.
And in the ring, with the right dance partner, Kevin Nash can put on some pretty good matches. Like his matches with Shawn Michaels were really good. His matches with Bret Hart were really good.
Undertaker, WrestleMania 12.
Most underrated WrestleMania match, bar none. I love that match.
Me too. That was really good. See two big men move like that? That's amazing.
Diesel and Razor Ramon, they had a lot of underrated matches in WWF at the time. Like Kevin Nash, to me, will never get the credit for being an actual good wrestler, mainly because Kevin Nash has the perception of somebody who just works for like a paycheck.
Which is a shame.
Maybe you can say he created that for himself, and he kind of undervalues himself as a professional wrestler. But I'm one of those people who's like, listen, give Kevin Nash a shot and watch the matches we mentioned.
Yeah.
It'll change your perception on him.
Definitely.
Watch just some of his random promos, and you'll see the confident swagger that he has.
And I mean, I don't know if he started it, but the Wolfpack symbol.
Well,
I mean,
technically, Sean Waltman took that, and then they just adapted it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, number 6 for me, Kevin Nash all the way.
All right, number 6 for me. I think this is gonna be one of your favorites too. Jake the Snake Roberts. Number 6, the Snake Man. I love Jake the Snake. He wasn't the most agile or athletic guy like a Shawn Michaels or anybody like that, but everything he did in the ring was methodical. It worked, and everything he did was right for that DDT.
Oh, yeah.
That was his big finish, the DDT, and people still use it to this day.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how more iconic of a finisher could a DDT be?
The problem with the DDT nowadays is that it got so homogenized or whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Misogynized?
Yeah, misogyny?
No, not that. No.
It got to the point where the DDT got watered down to a
Monotony.
transitional.
Monotonous.
The move went from being a finisher to a transitional move.
Yeah, like a what is it? Like a third
setup.
level grapple. Yeah, like
It's
a third level grapple.
It became a setup move or just a move to hit it out of the blue, just to cause like a double down.
And I think it was. I'm not sure if it was one of the first moves to be used from anywhere, but it was definitely one that you could pull off on almost.
No, DDT was one of those moves that you can hit from any direction.
And not only, and I gotta say, for Jake the Snake, not only was his wrestling ability. I mean, like I said, he's not Shawn Michaels.
Another thing with DDT is that the move was created by accident.
Yeah.
Because Jake was doing a match with this guy called the Grappler, and I think the Grappler slipped on Jake's foot by accident, and they both fell down together. So so just to save it, Jake kind of hooked his arm underneath the Grappler's
and DDT'd
head,
him,
just as an accident, and then they let the crowd breathe because they're like, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah. But still, I mean, again, not the athleticism of like a Shawn Michaels, but everything he did, psychological, methodical, and also one of the best promos I've ever seen in my entire life.
Fantastic.
Jake knew how to talk. Good God, that guy could make you say anything, and you could believe him.
Let's move on.
All right, next up.
All right, for me, number 5 is the Ayatollah of Rock and Roll.
Oh,
I love Chris Jericho.
Oh, that's
Chris
a good
Jericho.
One.
The second I saw him debut for the WWF in 1999, instantly hooked.
Wow. The man has this
over-the-top personality to the
point where it's so
it's legitimately a rock star personality.
It is.
And when you watch his WCW stuff, The guy's fucking hysterical. Chris Jericho is probably he's not a comedic wrestler,
No.
But he has some of
the best comedic timing in wrestling.
Yeah.
And in the ring, the guy's
Yeah.
fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, now he's slowed down a little bit because of his age. He just
Right.
overall, he just
Right.
got fat.
Right.
But even today, Chris Jericho can still put on some really good matches.
And he knows how to stay relevant too.
Chris Jericho's the king
God.
at adapting to the times and just changing his gimmick.
Oh,
up here and there.
100%.
Those little nuances.
I haven't seen anybody better.
Oh, Chris Jericho, he's the best in the world at what he does.
Indeed.
So number 5, Chris Jericho for me.
All right. For me, number 5, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dig it. Not only is Macho Man one of the greatest workers one of the greatest workers I've ever seen in the WWE. I would say similar maybe to Jake in the sense of like everything he did was building to maybe the top rope elbow.
Well, you gotta remember,
like,
a
in
lot
that-
of those guys from the 80s, like Macho, Jake, Hogan, they knew how to manipulate the crowd. They had
Right.
crowd psychology.
Right, and that was the other thing he was well known for too. He like his iconic flamboyant character, pomp and circumstance,
See-
one of the most iconic theme
See,
songs.
that's what's missing with wrestling, with wrestlers nowadays. They don't have no psychology.
No,
They can't manipulate an audience.
there's not really a connection there.
Mainly because the audience is more focused on actual moves instead of personalities, and that's why wrestling really sucks now.
And I dare you to try. And whenever somebody mentions the Macho Man, for you not to try and talk like him.
Oh, it's
Like
impossible.
it's so contagious.
It's impossible.
Holy
The
God!
guy has the most recognizable,
really
the most
is.
recognizable, deep,
It really
raspy
is.
type of voice.
It really is, and I love his work. I love his promo. He's a great guy. Number 5, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh yeah.
On to 4.
Oh well, my number 4 is The Undertaker.
Ooh.
I will always be a humongous Undertaker fan. When I first started wrestling, first started watching wrestling in 1998, Taker was one of the first guys that I saw. Like, I didn't get to ECW till I was like 10. 8 years old when I really started to get into professional wrestling during the Attitude Era. Taker, Rock, Austin, those are some of the first, ADX. Those were some of the first guys that I got into. Taker, because I'm a big horror movie guy, the whole gimmick of the Prince of Dark, the Lord of Darkness, the whole gothic look of Taker, and the fact that Taker, again, he's not a good promo guy, because he's not. Taker's like a really bad promo.
No.
But he's not bad to where he sucks. He's just
Yeah.
Taker comes across more as a presence than he does as a guy who can speak.
Yeah.
He has that foreboding presence.
It's like an aura.
Yeah, the mysticism.
Yeah.
So like when Taker would talk, he would get his point across, but he doesn't have any memorable promos.
No.
Because it's more Taker's all about the presence and the mysticism.
Right.
And when he's in the ring, Taker can go in the ring. Of course, we all know
Yeah.
how good Taker is in the ring.
Oh, he can
I
move.
don't gotta tell you how many
For a
matches
guy
to
his
watch
size,
from
he
this
can
guy.
move.
Oh yeah. To this day, one of my favorite matches is him versus Kane, WrestleMania 14.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So,
and like the way he would sit up was like inspired by like Friday the 13th. Like he would sit up.
That
His
initial,
movement was
the
so
initial,
slow like
the,
Friday the
the
13th.
initial few years of the character was very horror movie inspired.
Yeah.
Mostly Michael Myers and Jason.
Yeah. Indeed.
So yeah, number 4, Undertaker.
Number 4 for you, Undertaker.
Yeah.
Number 4 for me, Andre the Giant.
Oh, Andre.
Andre the Giant. I mean, again, Andre the Giant. The name alone should probably say it for anybody. Andre the Giant. While I think one of the biggest men in WWE, 7'2", 520 pounds.
Just say F. It's F.
One of the biggest.
Yeah, an F. WWF.
And okay, WWF. Sorry.
WWE didn't
WWE.
exist till
Yeah, right.
2002.
Okay.
Know
all right,
your
I missed it.
distinctions, boys and girls.
Indeed.
There's
Don't
a big
do what I did.
difference between the World
Yeah.
Wrestling Federation
Yeah.
and World Wrestling Entertainment.
Don't do what I did. All right. So in the WWF, Andre the Giant was I think the biggest guy on the roster.
No, at that
7
time
foot-
he was. At that time he was.
7'2", 520 pounds.
At that time he was. At that time he
Andre,
was.
Andre was not fast by any means, but everything he did had impact. Like every move had impact. Like he used his size as a weapon.
You gotta remember, Andre the Giant was one of those first special attraction type of guys.
Indeed,
Because
he sure was.
because your investment with Andre is not gonna get you much in the ring. You use him for like certain things that can get over and that can work.
Definitely.
Like Andre is not a 20-minute guy. He's
No,
the
not
guy
at
who
all.
goes in there 10 minutes at the most,
Yep.
but your maximum return with Andre was mostly battle royals.
True, which I think he was the king of battle royals.
Yeah, I think he rarely, if ever, lost one.
That's true, and I think he was in. I think every battle royal they had, or almost every battle royal they had,
That I can
he
remember-
was in
that
one.
I can
Yeah, that we
remember,
could
yeah.
remember, he was in one. And again, when you say Andre the Giant, how could you not think that he's a legend?
Oh, how
Andre the
so not?
Giant is a legend.
I mean, come on, WrestleMania 3, the famous.
The famous,
WrestleMania
yes,
3.
the famous Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant match.
Savage and Steamboat stole the show.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Andre and Hogan is what you really came to see. That drew the house.
100%. So for me, number 3, Andre the Giant.
Take that, Dave Meltzer.
Indeed.
All right, for me, number 3 is the People's Champion, The Rock. I love The Rock. The Rock. What can you say about The Rock that has not been said? Seriously, what can you say about The Rock that has not been said? The guy oozes charisma for years. He may not have been the most technical wrestler in the ring, but he was good. Like, The Rock can go
Yeah.
in the ring. He had
Yeah.
a lot of great matches.
Yeah.
But we all know Rock for his promos, for his
Yeah.
catchphrases.
Yeah.
Just that overall look of a cocky, arrogant self.
The eyebrow.
The eyebrow. You know, the guy who, like I said, he oozes charisma
Smell
for miles. Like, everyone quotes
Yeah.
The Rock. And of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
now he's one of the biggest movie stars in the history of movie stars.
I feel like he probably inspired a lot of people to talk in the third person.
Yeah, he was one of the. Well, Muhammad
I guess
Ali.
he would be like, The
Muhammad
Rock says-
Ali did it first, but The
Right.
Rock just made it famous.
Okay.
More famous, I should say.
True.
So yeah, number 3 for me is The Rock. I love The Rock.
All right. Number 3 for me, Yokozuna.
One of the most underrated big men ever.
Indeed. Number 3 for me, Yokozuna. I think the biggest man, girth, not like height, but girth. He was, I think, 600 pounds. I think was his
Yeah.
highest weight wrestling.
Yeah, which is not
Which
good
is-
at all.
no.
That's really bad.
But I gotta say this, Yokozuna, he has the athleticism of like a 200-pound wrestler.
The guy was
Good
extraordinarily
God.
active. And believe it or not, he was often touted as one of the most safest guys in the ring.
Yes,
And
he
you
was
would never
so
think that a
agile
man
too.
that size would be safe in the ring.
And he was so agile.
Yeah, just watch his matches
His
with Brett.
movements were so bam explosive.
Watch his matches with Brett. Even Brett
Yes.
said Yoko was very agile for a man his size.
Indeed.
Like Yoko
Good
was
God.
is underrated.
I love Yokozuna.
He was
so.
good. It's a
yeah.
shame that he passed away when he did.
Indeed, I think he could have had a lot more years in him if he took care of his health. But
Hey,
we
look-
digress. Whatever happened, happened. And I enjoyed the time that I got watching Yokozuna wrestle and compete in the ring.
Oh yeah.
So number 3 for me, Yokozuna.
All right, now we're getting down to the top 2.
Now we're getting down to now we're inside the top 5. Here we go. Number 2.
So for me, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Ooh.
My number 2 is Stone Cold Steve Austin. When I first started watching WWF in 1998, Austin stood out to me. He became my number 1 favorite wrestler of all time. It's just his rule breaking, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you personality that I fell in love with. His promos were explosive. I mean, in his early career, Austin was actually a very underrated, mechanical wrestler. But since the neck injuries he's had, he had to really tone down his style a lot
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that when I had Stone Cold as my favorite. Yeah, he changed his style
because
so much.
because of his neck problems.
Yes.
But you know what? It worked.
yeah.
For the Austin character, it worked. 'Cause
True.
Stone Cold Steve Austin didn't need to be this mechanical wrestler. He goes in there, kicks you, punches you, stunner, bing, bang, boom, you leave.
Done.
That's why I loved Austin.
Me too.
But even though the guy can still put on great matches, Rock, Austin, Kane, awesome stuff. Love Stone Cold Steve Austin. Number 2 favorite wrestler of all time.
All right, for me, number 2, and I think there's going to be a lot of this is going to resonate with a lot of people. Number 2 favorite wrestler for me, Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie.
Number 2 wrestler for me. He's my favorite.
Eddie motherfucking Guerrero.
Eddie is again one of those names where when you mention him, you automatically think legend. And I think another thing that I'm sure people understand as well, when you think Eddie, you think SmackDown, because Eddie pioneered that brand. Eddie took that brand to the top. I don't know about but Eddie gave the brand life. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Eddie gave the brand life. Eddie was SmackDown.
Yes.
100%. Get at me, debate me, whatever. I don't care. Eddie Guerrero to me is SmackDown. And I think.
And when he passed, I legitimately cried.
Yeah, I teared up too.
legitimately cried.
I teared up too when he passed. Oh my God.
Maybe because he came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He just did SmackDown that night.
Yep.
And that Sunday, That was actually, I remember that. That was the Sunday that Christian debuted in TNA for the first
time.
Wow.
So
It was that was like a really strange weekend.
True. But I gotta say, Eddie Guerrero, not only, I mean, his motto, of course, lie, cheat, steal. I mean, everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Not only was he good as a singles wrestler, he was amazing as a tag team competitor. He gave a shine to almost everybody that he worked with. It was uncanny, and it was amazing to see him wrestle. Not only that, one more thing. I know, I'm sorry, I'm going long. Not only that, but his uncanny ability to flip like this from heel to face is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Love him 1 minute, hate him the next. Eddie Guerrero, for me, number 2 favorite wrestler.
All right, so now we're going to give you our honorable mentions.
Indeed. The guys that...
We're going to give you brief descriptions of our honorable mentions, but to make this video go shorter, we're going to just take turns giving you our list and then and not trade off like we've been doing.
The guys that we like but didn't quite make it onto our top 10
All right,
list.
so for me, honorable mention number 1 is Scott Hall. Ooh. Big fan of Scott Hall. If Scott Hall would have kept himself clean, he could have been a world champion. For me, my second honorable mention, Terry Funk. I love Terry Funk. I had the privilege of meeting both the Funk brothers. It's a moment I'll never forget. I still get those photos at home. And just not only that, Terry Funk, 50, the guy is fucking crazy. He's just fucking crazy. He should not be putting his body on the line like that in his old age.
No.
I respect him and I fear for him every time.
Yes.
Number 3, Kane. That's gotta be Kane.
Yeah.
How can you not love Kane? I love Kane. One of the best characters next to The Undertaker that the company's ever created. One of the best long-term storylines was him and The Undertaker. Awesome. Love Kane. Number 4, Kurt Angle. Fantastic wrestler. You're wondering why is Kurt Angle not on my top 10 list? Well, very simple. A top 10 list for me are wrestlers who inspire you, are wrestlers that just gravitated to you. I like Kurt Angle, but I didn't take a whole lot of influence from Kurt Angle. But I will never discredit Kurt Angle as a performer. He's fantastic.
True.
And finally, Mick Foley.
Ooh,
Not putting Mick Foley in a top 10 list was very heartbreaking for me, mainly because there are other wrestlers who I just got more influence from, but it's Mick Foley. How could you not hate? How could you hate him?
Yeah.
Cactus Jack, Dude Love, Mankind. 3 separate gimmicks with 3 separate pieces.
Well, as well as himself, but
that's
the 3 faces. But that's
the 3 faces of Foley are 3 separate characters and gimmicks that have their own unique styles to them, and only Mick Foley can pull those off and make it work.
I remember one Royal Rumble, he actually pulled a triple header.
98.
All 3.
98.
Yeah, 98. Yeah. Cactus Jack, Dude Love, and Mankind, all in one Rumble.
Yeah. So those are my honorable mentions. Now he's gonna give you yours.
All right. My first honorable mention is. And this was one of those heartbreaking ones for me, too. Number 1 honorable mention, HBK, Shawn Michaels. It was such a heartbreaking decision to not put him in my top 10. But I had it down between Shawn Michaels and Triple H. And to me, I think Triple H's physicality slightly edges out Shawn. But definitely 100%, Shawn was the more athletic. Shawn was the more charismatic. Shawn... his matches drew you in. I cannot think of anybody who could not love a Shawn Michaels match. WrestleMania 12, Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, Iron Man match. A fucking classic. 2 straight years with The Undertaker, 25 and 26. Still classic matches.
And they had the very first Hell in a Cell match in 1997.
Indeed. And they had the first Hell in a Cell match in 1997. So for me, first honorable mention, Shawn Michaels. Number 2, another heartbreaking one for me not to put on the list, but not Bret the Hitman Hart, but Owen Hart, King of Hearts. My second honorable mention. It was very close. It was very, very close for me not to put him on this list.
Actually, you know a funny story? A lot of people always said Owen was better than Bret. Even Bret said Owen was better than him.
Yeah, I would agree. I
think it's because Owen had the personality that Bret didn't have.
True. Yeah, Owen was a little more.
A rocket.
Yeah, Owen was a little more charismatic. He had good matches like his brother. Don't get me wrong. But I think he was maybe slightly more technically sound, if that makes sense. I mean, they were about the same.
No,
but...
the thing with Owen was that he was more versatile because he had the high flying ability.
True. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, his first gimmick, the Blue Blazer.
Garbage.
Yeah, but I mean, he eventually evolved into Owen Hart.
Thank God.
Yeah, which definitely very good. Number 3 for me is the People's Champion, The Rock. Third honorable mention, as my esteemed colleague said. One of the best talkers, technically, I mean, he wasn't the end-all be-all. He wasn't Bret Hart, but he could go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could go. He was in great shape, charismatic, well-known wrestler. So I don't have to do much more on that. Number 4 for me, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Ooh.
Number 4, Ric Flair. This was a very tough one to leave off of my top 10 list, but I had to. I mean, I love Ric Flair. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of love and respect for the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. The dirtiest player in the game. Mentor to, I think, a lot of wrestlers in the WWE. Triple H, Shawn Michaels being the most notable. But, I mean, how could you think of WWE without Ric Flair? To me. So Ric Flair for me, number 4. And number 5, I'm going to do this one right on the spot. Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, number 5. For me, I think he was a great performer. He was like the Kurt Angle type wrestler. He did everything perfectly. His
No pun
movement,
intended.
yeah, no pun intended, of course. But his movement was just so fucking fluid.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Silky smooth.
Silky smooth. Everything he did, he took a chop like a fucking pro. He
All
went
right.
to the turnbuckle. But
Let's
anyway,
wrap this up.
Yeah.
So, those are all
Honorable mentions.
mentions.
I know,
Okay.
that was a lot.
And now it's time for the main event.
All right, main event of the evening.
Yeah. So
Number 1.
my number 1 is Jake the Snake
Oh,
Roberts.
nice.
Jake the Snake Roberts. He's already said his 2 cents. Here's
Yep.
my 2 cents.
Which is probably gonna be the same thing. Jake Roberts is the
To me, was one of the best when it comes to crowd psychology. The man knew how to manipulate an audience. He knew what emotions to make that audience feel. Whenever
Jake Roberts cut a promo.
he was like, he had that
Smooth, cold, confident, just delivery. Everything he said and did was like a snake. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Like,
he legitimately
was like a snake with his words. Like he would choose like these words and put them in sentences, and you would just hang on every single thing he said.
Yeah.
And Jake Roberts was one of those guys.
he didn't need to be a champion at all. We don't remember Jake Roberts for being a world champion.
I don't remember ever
We
him.
remember Jake Roberts for his promos.
Yep.
We remember Jake Roberts for the DDT.
Yep.
We remember Jake Roberts as just the aura, the character, like Undertaker, that mysticism, that mystique,
Yeah.
That cold.
calculated snake-like personality that he had.
Definitely.
Which, when I got into wrestling, Jake Roberts, I actually started training for wrestling. Jake Roberts was like one of those main inspirations I took for a
Promo.
Wow.
Like that
cold snake-like confidence that when you hear his
words,
Yeah.
it gives you a chill.
Rattling, no pun
love-
intended. Again, no pun intended, but a
love
rattling.
Jake the Snake
rattling
Roberts.
promo.
Number 1, I am so glad that he's like in great spirits and good health.
Yeah. Me too.
I had the pleasure of meeting Roberts, though I met Roberts when he was the drunken fool.
Oh.
But hey, at least
Hey,
I can say
Jake
I met,
Roberts.
at least I can say I met Jake Roberts.
That's true.
All right, wrap it up.
All right, for me, my most favorite wrestler is The Undertaker, the Phenom, the Dead Man. I mean, what more can you say about The Undertaker that hasn't been already said? A good promo, not a great promo, but you didn't need it. The aura was there. His work was amazing. I mean, come on, the body of work. Undefeated at WrestleMania for 21 straight years. 21, he went 21 and 1. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it wasn't really 20 straight years.
But anyway, he went every single WrestleMania he won. Every single WrestleMania he won until WrestleMania 30 with Brock Lesnar.
'Cause you also got to remember that there was I think 2 Manias that he didn't do,
It was WrestleMania
Right.
10.
and WrestleMania 2000 he didn't do those.
Right, because he was injured, I think,
Yeah.
for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, again, Undertaker. I mean, amazing body of work. 30 years in the WWE. A great career. I'm glad, honestly, I love The Undertaker, but I'm so glad he's retired. Because every time he wrestled, I was in fear for his safety. I was like, good God, he's going to kill himself in the ring. But,
Also, the guy was just broken down.
yeah.
You could tell he was broken down.
Yeah,
That guy
and
could barely move half the time.
yeah, and again, I mean, debuted in Survivor Series, retired on Survivor Series, a 30-year career,
Full circle.
will never be matched, can never be matched. For me, number 1, the Dead Man, The Undertaker.
All right, so that's been our list of our top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time, including honorable mentions. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like this video and subscribe, and I'll put a link to his YouTube channel in the description box below. if you like video game commentary and things like that. Anyway, Russell Madness signing off.
Peace.